This is it. This is the big one. We've been tackling the 2025 Grammy Award categories. We've been predicting winners, we've been giving some Grammy history, and then we entered the 4 major categories: Record of the Year, Song of the Year, Best New Artist, and what I consider to be the biggest and most meaningful, historically meaningful Grammy category, Album of the Year. Now, this category started when the Grammy started, 1959. The first winner in the category was Henry Mancini with the music from Peter Gunn. This is when soundtracks were some of the biggest music. And Henry Mancini at the time was one of the largest music titans. In fact, when the late Quincy Jones was being mentored early in his career, he was advised that anytime he had a musical idea, you better write it down. Whenever God inspires you with a musical idea, write it down, or else God's gonna go give it to Henry Mancini. So yeah, he was the first Album of the Year winner, and the second winner in the category was Frank Sinatra with Come Dance With Me. The artist with the most wins in this category is now Taylor Swift, standing alone with 4 Album of the Year wins. For a long time, I mean several years, there was a 3-way tie: Frank Sinatra, Stevie Wonder, and Paul Simon, once with Simon and Garfunkel and then twice solo. But for a long time, they were the 3 leaders, tied with 3 wins in the category. And then Taylor Swift won her 3rd with Folklore, so that allowed her to tie those 3. And then most recently, she just won it with Midnights, becoming the standalone leader in this Album of the Year category. And I really didn't think Midnights I didn't think it should have won it. Now, Folklore, I don't have a problem with, nor did I have a problem with 1989 or Fearless winning Album of the Year. But Midnights, I thought that Lana Del Rey had a better album with Did You Know There's a Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard. I thought SZA had a better album with SOS. But they gave it to Taylor Swift, and again, she is now the standalone leader with 4 Album of the Year wins. And then there are 4 artists with 2 wins in the category: George Harrison and John Lennon, not Paul McCartney, but George Harrison and John Lennon both have 2 wins. They both have one with the Beatles collectively with Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, and then they both have 1 solo win in the category. For George Harrison, it was the Concert for Bangladesh, and then for John Lennon, it was Double Fantasy, which was given posthumously right after he died. He won it with Double Fantasy. And then the other artists with 2 wins in the category are U2, so the members of U2, and Adele all have 2 wins. Some other pretty interesting historical notes in the category, like some of the greatest albums ever have won the award. Fleetwood Mac's Rumors won it. Michael Jackson's Thriller won it. The Bee Gees and the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack. Tremendous soundtrack that had How Deep Is Your Love, it had Staying Alive, it had all kinds of hits for the Bee Gees. And in the 70s, Stevie Wonder went on an incredible run. I did a video just about how dominant Stevie Wonder was throughout the 70s. That's when he went on his classic albums period, dropping those 5 albums: Music of My Mind, Talking Book, and then the 3 that won it: Inner Visions, Fulfilling Its First Finale, and then obviously Songs in the Key of Life. Those last 3 of 5 won Album of the Year. Like 3 out of 4 years, Stevie Wonder won those awards. Like, if you review Stevie Wonder's career between the 60s through the 80s, one of the greatest careers in recorded music history. And one of my favorite bossa nova albums or Brazilian jazz albums of all time, Gets Gilberto, won it in 1965. That's the album with the girl from Ipanema. And one of the vocalists on that album, Astrid Gilberto, just died a couple years ago. But yeah, the Bodyguard soundtrack, that great Whitney Houston soundtrack, won it in 94. Alanis Morissette won it with Jagged Little Pill in 96. Lauryn Hill cleaned up at the Grammys in 99, winning it with The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. I had done a video on has a rap album ever won Album of the Year, and it's arguable because there's The Miseducation with Lauryn Hill, which does have rap on it, but there's just as much R&B and just soulful singing on it as there is rap. Same thing with Speaker Box of Love Below by Outkast. Their final album won the award. And on the Andre side, it was non-rap, very non-rap, only a couple verses on that whole side of the double disc. And then on the Big Boy side, there was a lot more rapping. So again, it's kind of arguable to me as it stands whether a true like hip hop album has ever won Album of the Year. And then you've got some of the biggest surprises like Ray Charles with Genius Loves Company. This, I believe, was also posthumously given in 2005, beating out like Green Day's American Idiot, Kanye West's College Dropout, Usher's Confessions, The Diary of Alicia Keys. But yeah, they gave it to Ray Charles that year. And in more recent years, like in 2018, Bruno Mars won it with 24K Magic, and then Casey Musgraves won it with the fantastic Golden Hour. Billie Eilish swept the major categories. This has only been done a few times, but Billie Eilish became one of the only people to do that, winning all 4 major categories, including Album of the Year with When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go in 2020. I also thought it was a big surprise when Jon Batiste unexpectedly won it with We Are in 2022. I didn't expect that. And then in the 2 most recent years, 2023, Harry Styles won it with Harry's House. I didn't think he was going to win it. I thought either Adele or maybe Beyonce's Renaissance was gonna win that one. But no, Harry Styles won it. And then again, most recently, Taylor Swift is the current winner with Midnights, and she's actually nominated again this year and has a chance to pull away from the pack, further distancing herself from second place if she wins it this year with the Tortured Poets Department. So let's get into this year's nominees. We've got Charli XCX with Brat, Beyonce, Cowboy Carter, Jacob Collier. We're gonna get to him. He's more unknown than all of these other artists, but yeah, he's nominated for the second time actually for Album of the Year with Jessie Volume 4. Billie Eilish is nominated with Hit Me Hard and Soft. Andre 3000 unexpectedly with the very new age experimental ambient jazz New Blue Sun. Nobody saw that coming. And then there's Chappell Roan with The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess. She's also up in the other major categories, all of the other major categories, including Best New Artist. As is Sabrina Carpenter. She's nominated for Album of the Year with Short and Sweet and all of the other major categories. She's got one song, I think, Please, 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 either nominated for Song of the Year or Record of the Year, and then her breakthrough Espresso nominated in the other category. And again, also Best New Artist nominee. And then there's Taylor Swift with the Tortured Poets Department. She's got her song, what is it, Fortnite with Post Malone, nominated in the Record of the Year and Song of the Year categories as well. So who do I think should win it and who do I think will win it? Well, again, these are actually all really good albums for different reasons. Now, there's a little bit of controversy. Well, I don't know if it's controversy, but just the idea that Beyonce still has never won Album of the Year. Now, there are a lot of great artists that have never won Album of the Year, but you would think that either with Lemonade or with Renaissance and now with Cowboy Carter, that one of these several Beyonce albums should perhaps have been Album of the Year winner. In fact, Jay-Z at last year's Grammys took to the mic and mentioned how Beyonce should have at this point won Album of the Year. I forgot exactly what he said, but Jay-Z also famously boycotted the Grammys back in the late 90s when his musical rival at the time, I mean, they were boys, but they were also competitors. DMX had 2 #1 albums in his like rookie year, 1998, but was not nominated for any Grammy Awards in 1999. DMX had 2 huge albums, It's Dark and Hell is Hot and Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood, not nominated for anything, not even Rap Album of the Year, Best Rap Album. So for several years, Jay-Z didn't show up to the Grammys, but he did in more recent years. But he's still a vocal advocate for the artist that he feels is worthy, and he's still vocally outspoken when he thinks that somebody isn't getting their due. Now, again, Jacob Collier, you might be thinking like, who? Well, his albums are really good. He's from the UK, and so he's not super known in America, but his work is really good. I mean, he featured Michael McDonald from Doobie Brothers on this last album, as well as some other really good features, but just a well-rounded producer, got a very nice sound. Just give his album a listen because he's on here for a reason. I feel like a lot of people who don't know him, but are voting members of the Academy, get his album, listen to it, and are like, damn, this guy's really good. So yeah, he's nominated again for the second time. I feel like Charli XCX had the biggest moment maybe with Brat. Like on a lot of best albums of 2024 year-end lists, Brat was at the top of a lot of those lists. So it was like officially or unofficially a Brat summer in 2024. Beyonce with Cowboy Carter, like this is her boom, back to back. Renaissance and then this one. I think she's got a good chance at winning this year with Cowboy Carter. Very good, kind of country adjacent album. Billie Eilish with a little bit of a different turn on Hit Me Hard and Soft. I thought that there was a little bit more danceable, kind of club ready songs on this one, although like Birds of a Feather and a couple other really good ballads are also on this album. Andre 3000, again, the flute-based experimental ambient jazz album New Blue Sun. I enjoyed it. I get most people don't listen to a lot of ambient music, but it's really a genre that's exploding. I probably listen to more ambient and ambient jazz music than any other genre. I'm talking indie, classic rock, hip hop. Nah, I've really been on this like ambient fix in recent years. And then there's Chappell Roan, who also had a huge breakthrough. Her and Sabrina Carpenter are pretty much the rookies of the year. Although Sabrina Carpenter, I think, still has a bigger profile, it doesn't hurt that she was also touring with Taylor Swift. That could boost anybody's profile. But I listened to Chappell Roan's The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess, and I really did like it. And I think that she's got a decent shot at winning this year. The ones that I feel have almost no shot at winning are Andre 3000 and Jacob Collier. I just don't see it happening when you look at the rest of this list and their profiles and how big those albums were. And with Taylor Swift, she can't win it again, right? I feel like between critics and even some Taylor fans will agree that the Tortured Poets department isn't her best stuff. I dare I say a lot of the stuff was rather mid by Taylor Swift's standards. Not that it was bad, but it didn't stand out. Like, there was no song to me that was as catchy as like Lavender Haze, which opened up her Midnight's album. And I don't even think Midnight's was one of Taylor Swift's 3 best albums. So I really feel like it would be a bit of an injustice if they give Taylor Swift her 5th Album of the Year Grammy with this particular album. There are just too many good candidates in this category that I feel are more deserving of Album of the Year. I think this really comes down to either Charli XCX, Beyonce. I think that Taylor Swift might win it, but I don't think she should be in the hunt. I think this should come down to Charli XCX, Beyonce, Chappell Roan, and probably Billie Eilish. I get it, Sabrina Carpenter's a huge deal. I look at her album as being a more typical style of pop. Yes, she does kind of have like a sweet, and her album is called Short and Sweet, but she's got a sweet delivery where she does like a lot of, oh, but the AC is so damn nice, kind of talk, singing through a lot of her music, but it adds a lot of character to the vocals. I think she's pretty good at that. But songwriting wise, I feel like these styles of songs are types of songs that we've heard a million times before. So I really think that this should, to me, this boils down, like Billie Eilish, really good album, but I don't think it was like her best. I think that Beyonce and Charli XCX should be the two front runners. I could see them giving it to Charli XCX just because of how viral her Brat moment was this past year. But I think that they're actually going to finally award Beyonce with Album of the Year for Cowboy Carter. I think she's finally going to win Album of the Year. It was a statement, just like Renaissance was a huge statement. This one was another big statement, a very long album with all kinds of different sounds and movements, just throwing everything but the kitchen sink. I mean, there were a few misses, but there was so much good stuff on Cowboy Carter. I think that this will finally be the year where Beyonce is not denied Album of the Year. So yeah, I think that she probably should win it this year in this category. Again, I say either her or Charli XCX, with Chappell Roan kind of being like a dark horse. Although I wouldn't be surprised if they award Billie Eilish. She's just a huge Grammy winner. She gets blessed by the Grammys often, including with that great Barbie song, What Was I Made For? She got blessed with Grammy Awards for that one as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if Billie Eilish wins it, but I think that it should be either Charli XCX or Beyonce, and I think that Beyonce is finally gonna win it. But yeah, let me know your thoughts about Album of the Year, what you think about the Grammys as a whole, and what do you think about these particular nominees? Like, did you like Andre 3000, who I guess now has a chance of being a 2-time Album of the Year winner when you include his Outkast work? But yeah, did you like this list of nominees? I thought that I like it when there are 1 or 2 oddballs in the group. Andre 3000's New Blue Sun, and then the much less known Jacob Collier with Jessie Volume 4. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Beyonce. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Who should win the award, and who do you think will win the award? Let me know your thoughts, and please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you love music like I do. I'm Woog. Thanks for tuning in.